Yogachala Ram Bhante and Bhante Lakana and dear friends in Dhamma. Today in our temple we are going to do a special program here with Bhante Rahula. So first of all we are going to do the offerings to the Buddha as usually in our temple. Every evening we are doing this Gilampasa Puja. And so we are going to start with that. So let us first pay our homage to the Noble Triple Gem. Let us start with pay homage to the Buddha. So let us recite Namaskara 3 times and pay homage to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vinyacharana sampanno sugato Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanang buddho bhagavati swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehi passiko Opanaiko Pacchantang Veditambo Vinyojiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyaya Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samici Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Ante Purisa Punggala Ese Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuniyo Pahuniyo Dakkiniyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyang Ketang Lokassati. Worship of shrines. Vandami cetiyang sambang sambatani supatittitang saririka dhatu mahabodhing buddha rupang sakalang sadha. Let us dedicate these all the offerings to the Buddha with thinking about great virtues of our Supreme Buddha. May these candle lights and also these incense, flowers, water and all the medicinal drinks be offered to our Buddha. With having those thoughts, let us recite all the stanzas together, offering of lights. Ganasarapadittena dipena tamadansina tilokadipang sambuddhang pujayami tamunudang gandha sambara yuttena dupena hang sugandhina pujaye pujaniyang tang puja puja bhajana muttamam vanna gandha gunopetam etam kusuma santating pujayami munindassa siripada saruruhe pujemi buddham kusumena nena punyena metena labami mokkam uppam milayati yata idammi kayo tatayati vinasa bhavam adivase tuno bante paniyam parikampitam anukampam upadaya patiganhatu uttama adivase tuno bante kilana paccayan imam anukampam upadaya patiganhatu uttama. Worship of 43. Yassa mule nisinnova sambari vijayannaka patto sabbang nyutang satta vandetam bodhipadapam ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita aham pite namassami bodhiraja namastute. Purification. Kayena vaca cittena pamadena maya katam accayam kamami bante puripanya tathagata kayena vaca cittena pamadena maya katam accayam kamami dhamma sandittika akalika kayena vaca cittena pamadena maya katam accayam kamami sangha supatipanna anuttara. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. ගෞරවනීය අපේ යෝගාවචර රාහුල නායක හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේගෙන් අවසරයි ගෞරවනීය හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ. Dear most venerable yogavachara Rahula Bhante Mahatera, today here in Cleveland Buddhist Vihara we have organized with the guidance of our chief incumbent Dr. Surakulami Pemanatana Nayaka Thera, and also with the support of our devotees, our all the dayakas, We had the wish to invite Most Venerable Bhante Rahula to our temple. So for years, and this year we were so fortunate to welcome our Bhante Rahula Mahatera. We are going to start with Dhamma talk, and so Bhante is going to deliver the Dhamma talk, and tomorrow we are going to have one-day meditation retreat. So I know most of you have been registered to attend the meditation retreat tomorrow, but even we invited anyone who expect to listen to this Dhamma talk, you are welcome. So hopefully all of you can listen to this Dhamma talk and get the benefit of this Dhamma guided by the Bhante Rahula Mahatera. So I respectfully invite Bhante to start the Dhamma talk. Say sadhu 3 times to Bhante to welcome Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So, thank you, Bhante Buddhadatta, for inviting me to come here to Akron to share some Dhamma with all of you. It's the first time I think I've been in Akron, Ohio. But let me see the hands of those who have been to my retreats that I've been doing in Pittsburgh for the last few years. I'm going there, so just a few. So now is the time for the Dhamma talk. So what is the Dhamma? Now if you ask the regular Buddhist what the Dhamma is, they'll say, teachings of the Buddha. Then you say, well, what did the Buddha teach? They say, he taught the Dhamma. It's sort of a conundrum. Which came first, the Buddha or the aim? The Dhamma or the Buddha? As we all know, the Buddha simply said, the Buddha didn't come and invent anything or bring a new religion into the world. He said, I've simply rediscovered the ancient path. Rediscovered the ancient path to freedom, to liberation. It has been existent since eternity, but has been lost over time. We came and rediscovered. And the Dhamma basically is the laws of nature, but especially the laws of nature concerning the body and mind in this world. And the Buddha wasn't interested in who created the world, when it was created, how it was created, or any of these kind of things. There's some other religions that think that are important. The Buddha didn't think that was important. Because for the Buddha, he was interested in what is the gut experience of the living beings. And he saw that it was confusion and suffering. And he was interested in understanding the nature of suffering and also what is the nature of happiness. But he was primarily interested in the cause of the suffering. Because he could look around, and even though people are trying to be happy, they seem to be doing things that actually bring them a lot of suffering. So this was what motivated him, to give up the palace life. You must know the story. A prince, right? So he gave up that. And to seek the cause of suffering. Now, basically the Dhamma are the laws of nature. And a lot of people think that Buddha was, of course we know he was a founder of Buddhism. They call it Buddhism, but the Buddha didn't teach Buddhism. He taught Dhamma. So many people came to him and asked him, what do you teach? Who created the world? Is there a God or is there a God? And he says, look, put those things aside. Let me teach you Dhamma. And in that, he enumerated the Four Noble Truths. That suffering exists, and what is the cause of the suffering? He saw that suffering if you understand what the cause of suffering is, you can eliminate the cause and come to the end of suffering. And then how to do it. How to live, think, and meditate. It will allow a person to unravel the very complex web and knots of karma that have been accumulated within the mind. That's what was important for the Buddha. Now, every living being is searching for happiness. That's the nature of the mind, is wanting to be happy and free from suffering. You take a little ant. If a little ant is crawling around on the ground, and you put your finger down in front of it, what will it probably do? Anybody? It'll probably stop, right? And turn around. Maybe you go another back. Why? Why would he do that? Because he senses some danger there, some fear. So it's that fear of danger, the fear of suffering. Because look at a little ant in my finger would be similar to what the people in New York on 9/11, standing at the foot of the World Trade Centers when they came down, right? You all saw the photos, the videos. People running in terror, terrified. Why? Because they didn't want to get killed, right? So the same thing. The ant, our fingers in the World Trade Center to a little tiny ant. So it senses that danger. So in something that small as an ant, there's something very alive. And again, that is the consciousness and the desire to live free from suffering. Now, coming back to these laws of nature, so basically the Buddha is really a scientist. Even though they talk about him as being a teacher or the leader of Buddhism or a great religious figure, really pure and simple, he was a scientist. And he had a hypothesis. Okay, suffering is there. Then what is the cause of the suffering? It's just like a doctor. You got a disease, right? So many diseases are coming up. People are wanting to find the cause. So much research is being done. What's the cause of this disease, that disease? And they have certain symptoms, right? And then once you find out the symptoms and seeing what is causing them, you come up with a cure. So the same way with the Buddha. He saw that suffering is there, not only physical suffering, but mental suffering. People are suffering from worry, fear, depression, all kind of mental problems, and greed and hatred, and so many things that cause suffering. And so he was, he saw that, and he wanted to find out what is the cause. But anyway, I don't want to get too carried away and all that. But, so one of the laws of nature that the Buddha discovered, the cause of suffering, was the law of karma. Law of karma. That's a natural, a natural law. And law of karma is similar to law of gravity. So if you throw something up, what happens? It comes down, sometimes with a big thud, right? So in the law of karma, if you throw something out of your mouth, some words, it goes out and it goes through the bodies and minds of other people, creates some reaction in them, and then it comes back to us as a punch in the nose, or a stab wound, or kindness, smile, and so on. So, and if you throw something out with your body, like flip somebody the fingers, we're going to do that. Or some other kind of body language, or of course hitting somebody, then that also creates these effects that come back to us. And even our thoughts are like radio waves that go out. And even just thinking thoughts, even though you might not know what somebody's thinking on a conscious level, these invisible brain waves and so on, people can pick up on them. And they can cause some unconscious reactions within you that can change the way that you might think or feel about other people, not even really knowing why. So even our thoughts. So these three ways of karma, by our thoughts, speech, and actions. But even our speech and actions originate in the mind, because the body can't do anything without an impulse. It can't speak without there being an impulse to want to speak, or to move the body, or even to think. And so therefore people are doing all kind of actions with the body, speech, and mind that bring painful results. So that was one of the most important laws of nature to understand, is how the mind develops these kind of, sends out waves in the world, and it creates these reactions and coming back to us. So if you put out actions and thoughts with selfish greed and hatred and other negative states, then you will get back these kind of similar reactions back to you. And it's similar to Newton's law. So you all know Sir Isaac Newton, right? You've heard about him in learning, in physics. So what was his law? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So this is similar to that law of karma. So if you put out hatred in a certain volume, you're going to get back, painful or hateful vibrations coming back to you. And if you put out kind and gentle and nice vibrations, then you will also get them coming back. So that's why I say that Buddha discovered these scientific laws, these laws of nature. That's why he approached the Dhamma in that way. And so that's why we know that in the practice of Dhamma, following the 5 precepts is one of the the foundations of being a Buddhist. But we find 5 precepts in a lot of other religions too, right? I mean, even in Christianity, there's even 10 commandments, right? There are more than 5. And some of them are similar, some of them maybe not exactly the same, but a lot of the similar things are about lying, about other bad forms of speech, and stealing, and killing, of course, and so on. just those 5 precepts. I think you all know what the 5 precepts are. So you two just think about it. You know, every conceivable ill or problem in the world, whether it's in your own life or it's in society, in the world at large, all problems of the world come back to people not following those 5%. I mean, just think about it. If everybody in the world could follow 5 precepts, there probably wouldn't be any need for Dhamma, right? Because most people come to Dhamma because there's some suffering in their life. But if the whole world could follow 5 precepts, it'd be like a heaven on earth. So why can't people follow 5 precepts? 5 little bitty precepts. Why can't they do that? Because they don't have control over their mind. So, you know, that's really the whole practice of Dhamma basically is about learning how to control our mind. And learning to understand what this mind is, you know, how it thinks. And especially in terms of that law of karma. And really the Buddha was like a scientist, as I've already mentioned. He used this body as a laboratory. And he used the mind and the powers of concentration like a microscope. And he wanted to find the cause of suffering, but looking within the mind to discover. Now most people, if you ask them what is the cause of suffering, he's the cause of my suffering, she's the cause of my suffering, the communists are the cause of my suffering, this and this, you know, they'll say everything in the book that the cause of suffering is caused by others, right? But the Buddha took the different approach. He says, no. The deepest cause of suffering is how we react to what others might be doing. It comes from within our own mind. By not understanding the law of karma and therefore usually react to suffering by by wanting to get rid of the cause, you know, by hurting somebody else or something like that. Physically removing that cause. But we all know that that doesn't really work because it just complicates things even more. So that's why the Buddha was very unique in wanting to understand the cause of suffering, that ultimately it comes from within our own mind. That's the way that we react to the world. So in the Dhamma, really the mind is the most important thing. And the Buddha's teaching is formulated around, or the first 2 verses of the Dhammapada, which is a popular Buddhist text, really encapsulate the whole of the teaching of the Dhamma. And basically the English translation is that all actions are led by the mind. Mind is their master. Mind is their maker. If one acts or speaks with an impure mind, then suffering will follow. As the cart wheel follows the foot of the ox. And in the same way, if one acts or speaks with the pure state of mind, then happiness will follow, as your shadow follows you around. So right there, in those 2 verses really sums up the whole practice of Dhamma. It's about learning how to purify our mind of the negative types of thoughts that bring those kind of suffering results. And so it's about learning how to control our thoughts. because most people, they don't have control over their mind. And so that's why in the Buddhist teaching about meditation, the four foundations of mindfulness is the main teaching of meditation about how to transform our mind and how to go inwards and to discover the source of our thoughts and even the source of consciousness. And so that the four foundations of mindfulness are the main practice of meditation for learning how to overcome suffering. In fact, at the start of that sutta, some of you have read the Satipatthana Sutta, at the very beginning of that sutta, the Buddha says, this is the direct way for the overcoming of sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair, for overcoming suffering, for developing wisdom and entering the correct path. And that is the four foundations of mindfulness. And he started with the body, because the mind operates through this body. That means, and another very famous statement of the Buddha was that the world, the arising of the world, the ceasing of the world, and the path leading to the ceasing of the world is right within this 5 or 6 foot long body, with its nervous system, memory, and consciousness. So basically, the mind operates through the body. This body is the home for the mind. But most people are not in their bodies. Now, for 9 months, when you were a dream in your parents' minds, for 9 months, the moment of conception, it took 9 months for the baby to develop in the womb. And consciousness was going into every cell of the body. So every cell of the body basically has a kind of consciousness, awareness. And they're all tied together in what we call the internet, the inner internet. We think about the internet being with computers and all that, but this body and mind is a microcosm of the universe, actually. And so it has its own internet. All the cells of the body talk with each other. When all the systems of the body were created, it has natural wisdom. If you stub your toe, it sends signals to the brain, hey, help me out. And, or diseases come in, the immune system goes to work to eat up foreign bacteria, whatever. All these elaborate systems. Who created all that? It comes from natural wisdom. For 9 months, baby developed in the womb. There wasn't an IBM computer or AI directing that wisdom. Or any doctors or anybody else. So, just saying that to kind of illustrate the idea of this. The mind is really embedded in the body. But people's minds are normally not in their body. Because people's minds are usually going back between the past and the future. How many of you in your own life spend a lot of time worrying about the past and the future? Or even in your day long. You have some place to go and you're focused on what's going to happen there in the office, but you're not mindful of your body. You trip, you fall down, you're driving your car, you don't pay attention, you get in a wreck or whatever. So many things. So almost all problems are problems of the past and the future. Think of any problem that you have and see if it's not connected with the past or the future in some way. Even now, you're thinking about, oh, when's this going to be over? I want to watch my favorite television program at 10 o'clock, or whatever. Or your pains are developing in your body and you're saying, when it's going to be over, right? The mind's in the future, causing you agitation. Or it's going to the past. I hope it's going to come over. So, and that's really the source of most people's anxiety, is their mind being lost in the past and the future. And not centered in the body, not watching what you're doing. So you get in a lot of accidents. Most of our accidents are due to not being centered and grounded in the present moment, as I've already mentioned. So that's why the Buddha, in his wisdom, in developing his practice of meditation, that first foundation of mindfulness is learning how to get reconnected to the body. And really feeling it, because the body is always in the present moment. It's always just right here. It's sitting, or it's standing, or it's walking, or it's bending, or stretching, whatever it's doing. Just remembering it, feeling it, then the mind is basically in the present moment. And because all problems are problems of the past and the future, when the mind is in the present moment, there's nothing to compare, nothing to judge, nothing to fear, nothing to worry about, because all those things are connected with the past and the future. And we carry this body around with us all the time, right? 24/7, 365. The last number we don't know how long we'll live. But if we have to carry it around with us 24/7, 365, why not really use it for a good purpose? Rather than, winning beauty contests or, winning Mr. Universe weightlifting contests and all that. So that's why the mindfulness of the body is how to get reconnected with the mind, because the mind is operating through the body. So the mind becomes grounded and centered. It's feeling the body, feeling the breathing, not getting lost in the past and the future so much. Then the body comes alive. The mind is in the present moment. And in that present moment is all the wisdom arises in that present moment. And so that's why one of the, but learning how to stay grounded in the body is difficult for a lot of people, because people's bodies they're half dead because they don't breathe correctly and they don't get the proper kind of exercise. It keeps the life force activated. This cell is made up of, this body is made up of billions, or they're even saying now trillions of cells. You all heard that somewhere? And what are cells made of? Biologists. Molecules. How many molecules make up a cell? You don't know. A lot, maybe. What are molecules made of? Atoms, right? H2O, 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen make a drop of water. But what are atoms made of? Protons, neutrons, electrons. Why do they call it an electron? Because it's electricity. It's life force. So really the essence of life is electrons. And of course people know nothing about it. I mean, they hear about it, but they never feel it. So when I'm just saying that with the idea, and so basically it's energy. The body is just compressed energy. Trillions and quadrillions of electrons atoms, molecules, tightly pressed together to, to give a fingernail or give a drop of blood or hair or whatever. So that's a lot of activity going on in the body, a lot of life force, but people are oblivious to it because they're not grounded in the body. And that's in the present moment. All that life force is occurring in the present moment. And this is another one of the laws of nature, that everything is constantly changing. Our body is constantly changing. Everything in the material world is constantly changing because it's all made up of electrons. And electrons are constantly changing. And then of course, the atoms and the molecules that they are forming. And this is where the law of physics and modern science is validating this. Because, in quantum physics now, even they're going beyond even the smashing the atom, and finding out that energy never dies, it just morphs. There's a constant state of change. I'm just saying this again to kind of set the stage for the importance of getting grounded and centered in the body as a way to directly be able to observe our mind. And to observe how our thoughts arise, how our consciousness arises. Because they're all arising at that cellular level of vibration. And so by learning how to focus in the body and feel those sensations, you're that much closer to where thoughts are arising. So when a thought starts to arise, you can, I'm starting to get angry, okay, relax. If a lustful thought arrives, okay, it's just a lustful thought. You can let go of it. Most people don't clearly see their thought. They just get carried away in them before they even realize what was happening. So the practice of mindfulness really starts with that. If you want to know how to control your thoughts, you have to develop the ability to be mindful of them. And you can't be mindful of them if your mind is scatterbrained and just always running around and full of, neurotic, nervousness and agitation. It has to be calm and relaxed in the present moment. So that's really sort of the first stage of meditation, is learning how to get centered and kind of relaxed more in the present moment. The mind's not thinking so much the past and the future, and it's starting to feed off the happiness of the body. Now the reason why people have lost that connection with the body, because for most people it's just painful. They don't know how to feel the pleasant vibrations in the body. But in the body there's millions of pleasurable feelings. We all heard about dopamine, serotonin. All of these are sort of molecules and so on of happiness. People now have to take drugs to get it. No, you can get it naturally through developing concentration. So, this is how we have to kind of, in the practice of meditation, we have to, develop this new kind of relationship to the body and mind, and to try to live in harmony with those laws of nature. Now, that's why yoga practice is a good thing to do to help to feel the body. Because, as I mentioned, most people's bodies are just rather stiff, and they don't breathe very deeply. So, all these electrons, the cells of the body get charged up through the breathing that we breathe in. We breathe in the electrons of the universe. And it goes into, but most people breathe so shallowly, and they don't hold their breath in long enough, so all that oxygen gets transferred to the blood. So their bodies are basically half starved of oxygen. Because the lungs were made a certain size to use. I mean, nature didn't waste anything. The lungs were made of a certain size, right? But if you ask any doctor, even a pulmonologist, a lung doctor, he'll tell you that most people don't only breathe about 1/10 of the lung capacity in normal breathing. So that's why in yoga, developing the ability to take deeper, slower breaths, be able to hold the breath in for a few seconds to give enough time for all those millions of electrons and so on to absorb into the bloodstream, be carried out and charge up the cells. It's like electricity. It's like a battery. Look, if you don't charge your battery, what happens? The phone goes dead, right? Well, we charge up the batteries of our body through the breath and the food also, but breathing is both food and breathing, but breathing is more direct, like a direct infusion. And that's why developing deep, slow breathing is very useful. That's why in my retreats, if any of you have been to them before, you know that we usually start meditation period with a few stretches and some deep breathing and stretching. Next, we wanted to try to do maybe a little bit of that tonight, just as a little sample. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Hopefully, more in tomorrow's program. So, it's already getting late. So the mindfulness, learning how to get centered and grounded in the body, is for the purpose of bringing the mind to the present moment and just resting. And then you can clearly see what is going on. All the sounds, the other vibrations that are coming through, you learn how to just observe them. And even pains, you can observe how there's a lot of painful feelings in the body. But you don't have to always react to them. People are always reacting. If you have an itch arises, what do you normally do? You hear a sound. All these what are called nervous system neurotic movements will waste a lot of energy. So when you practice mindfulness, when you're more grounded and centered in the body, that kind of creates a buffer zone between what is going through the body and the mind's reaction to it. So you can, a buffer zone, it gives you a fraction of a second, a nanosecond to think, do I really need to react to this or not? And 9 times out of 10, you'll see you don't have to. Because if you wait, because of impermanence, the thing will change. And you don't have to waste your energy trying to get rid of things because they'll just change and go away by themselves. Again, 9 times out of 10. Sure, maybe a toothache is going to hang around for a long time. But a lot of the other things, just a little kind of annoyances and, itchy, scratchy feelings and whatever, and other sounds coming and going, or even our thoughts in our mind. We don't have to go chasing around all of our thoughts and worrying about things that you can't control anyway. It just increase your agitation to learn how to let go. By staying grounded and connected to the body. And to feel the pleasant sensations that arise deep in the body. I mean, just feeling, when you're able to hold the attention longer and just feeling the body, there's a lot of pleasant sensations there. Even the feeling of the clothing touching the skin, or the blood pulsing in the arteries, or the heart beating, or other kind of subtle sensations, you tune into that. And that's very pleasant. It's more pleasant than all the rubbish going through your mind. So the mind has an anchor hold it. Otherwise, you normally don't have an anchor. The mind is just everything dragged in and reacts to every little thing. So that's really kind of the key function of the mindfulness. And until a person can do that, then probably you won't get much progress. How many want to try a little taste of that tonight? Game for that? So, anyway, based on what I've just been talking about, does anybody have any questions about anything interesting? I'm feel shy. It's quite a lot to remember. Yes?
It's something I didn't quite maybe always understand that the way you said it was though the reason why I don't reach up and scratch the itch, right, is you're talking about the energy, not wasting the energy of chasing after it, right? That's I thought the way you said that was really interesting. I never really thought about it. So I was thinking, okay, it's just an itch. I'll scratch it, and then I don't have to worry about it.
No, but it'll come back again.
Yeah, it's there. It's gone. Right now, that's
it keeps chasing you. Another itch will come somewhere else.
Yeah. I like the way you said that. It's a good way to have my mind sit with.
And people have very little pain tolerance. And we keep feeding that by every time you get something happen, oh, take this pill, take that pill. Or change your posture, keep, changing around. When you do that, you'll never gain concentration. That's why in meditation, you take it up as a challenge. And to actually make it a challenge not to do that. Because I'm not going to move. I should be more mindful. You can observe things that caused you pain. You can observe them. Actually, they're not that bad. It's doable. Tolerate that pain for 5 more seconds, 10 more seconds. For that age, you start with small things. Okay. Any other questions? Does anybody want to try a few deep breathing, some stretches, and then sit to a short meditation? Okay. So go ahead and stand up. So if you can, just maybe try to spread out so you're not like really, really close to somebody there. Have a little bit of room to move your arms like that without hitting somebody else.
More space here, so you can move.
So first of all, just relax your arms at the side. Try to stand straight, keep the chin lifted up level with the floor. And then gently close your eyes. Try to feel your eyes resting in the eye socket. And just mentally tell yourself, standing, standing. Present moment, the body is standing. Now focus your attention where your feet press the floor. Try to feel the bottoms of your feet pressing the floor. Just imagine the weight of the body pressing the feet to the floor. Feel that sense of hardness and contact with the floor. And keep repeating the word standing, standing, We'll give your mind time to think about something else. Now let your awareness kind of rise up through the legs, to feel your legs, feel the clothing may touch the skin of your legs. And feel your fingers, palms of your hands. You feel the subtle vibrations in the fingers or palms of your hands. Feel the weight of your arms hanging from the shoulders. Arms weigh about 5 pounds. Feel the clothing touching the skin of your arms. Keep remembering standing. Feel where the clothing touches the skin of your stomach or chest. And take a deep, slow breath, try to feel the sensations of the clothing rubbing on the skin of the stomach and chest as you take a deep breath. Hold the air in your lungs for 2 seconds. And slowly breathe out. Now feel your head balanced on top of your neck. Feel the skin of your face. And feel the eyes and the socket. And from the point on the eyes, if you can feel the general kind of vague outline of the standing body, all those different places you just went through, feet pressing the floor, arms and hands hanging at the side, clothing touching the skin, head balanced on the top, eyes in the socket, just any or all of those sensations. Try to feel the outline of the standing body if you can. Then begin some deep, slow breathing. Try to take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Hold the air in the lungs for 2 or 3 seconds. And slowly breathe out. And feel the air going out of the lungs. Take a few more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out. Standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, standing here and now. And now we're going to combine this breathing with a few simple stretching movements. You can open your eyes to observe as I kind of lead you through it. We coordinate the breathing with the movement. It means we do the movement while breathing in, holding that position for 2 seconds, keeping the air in the lungs, and then on the out breath, returning to the starting point. And then try to repeat each one 2 times. The whole time, just keep your mind on the body, letting go of your breath. Okay. So on the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock your fingers, turn the palms up, straighten your arms, stretch upwards, stretch your head back. And release the fingers, and on the out breath, arms back to the side. Feel the air go out of the lungs, the arms come down. Once more, in breath. Stretch up, bend back a little bit. Feel the arch of the spine. Out breath, arms back to the side. Once more, in. Stretch up, bend back. Feel the sensation. Out breath. And just relax. Keep feeling the body, don't let the mind wander in thought. Feel your feet pressing the floor. Feel your hands and fingers, the increased sensation. Your clothing touching the skin. Feel your head balanced on top, eyes in the socket. Remember, stand. Letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keep the standing, breathing body in front of the awareness. Like you are looking into a mirror. On the next in breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other and stretch up. On the out breath, come back down. Feel the air going out as the arms come back down. Use the in breath to help lift up the body, like blowing up a helium balloon. Stretch. Out. Once more. In. Relax. Close the eyes. And feel the increased sensations, life force vibration, the activated cellular vibration. Try to feel the outline of the body and the mind's eye. Standing. Next we're going to do side bending. So on the in breath, raise both arms up. Try to keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. And on the out breath, bend over your right side as far as you comfortably can. Try to keep your arms parallel to each other. In breath, lift up. Then the other side, out breath. Stretch to the side, in breath, then to the right, out. Once more to the side. The out breath, lower the arms. the eyes. Feeling the body, don't let the mind wander in thought. Remember standing. Head on top, arms at the side, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Itchy, prickly sensations, aches or pain. Next we'll do head turning from right to left. On the in-breaths, if we turn your head to the right as far as you comfortably can, and look over your right shoulder. If you have a stiff neck, just be careful. And on the out-breath, turn the head all the way back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. In-breath back to the right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Imagine them loosening up. Out breath left. In right. Out left. On the in-breath, let the head stop in the middle, keep the eyes closed, feeling the body, and feel the outline of the standing body. So it feels increased life force vibration. Present moment, body-centered awareness, starting point for any deeper meditation. Okay. Now, having done that, while you were doing that, could anybody feel what I was talking about, some kind of sensation? Some more sensations? Anybody? So anyway, that's again, the purpose of doing that is to hopefully have more sensations in the body, that when we sit to meditate, that also then becomes one of our focuses of attention. So we're going to sit down again. Try to sit as comfortably as you can. If you're in a chair, just try not to lean too much on the back of the chair, but keep the back straight. Keep your feet flat on the floor. And it's important to try to keep the spine. Meditation happens between your brain and the spinal cord. That's where all the vibrations of the world come through, our senses relaying through the nervous system, the spinal column, reach the brain. Try to keep your chin lifted up level to the floor. And just focus on your eyes, feel your eyes in the socket. If you can, or feel that outline of the sitting body. Sense of the head on top, arms at the side, hands touching together, feet pressing the floor. Just mentally remind yourself of sitting, sitting. Before the body was standing, now it's sitting. Then begin some more deep, slow breathing as we did in the yoga session. Try to take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. For the expansion of the upper chest, hold the air in for 2 seconds. And slowly breathe out. Try to feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Take several more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath a second. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Feel the air go out. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to try to count our breaths from 1 to 10, develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with breathing and concentration. So on the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the air in a second. With the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Let the last bit of air go out. And the next in breath, 2. Hold the air. Out breath, 2. Feel the air go out. In, 3. Out, 3. In, 4. Out, 4. In, 5. Out, 5. In, 6. Out, 6. In, 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. Now as the breath goes out, don't deliberately try to breathe in again. Just let the breath relax. And just allow the air to come back in on its own. Keep your attention focused on the center of the body. Feel the residual or shorter incoming, expanding breath. Contracting outgoing breath. Just make that the primary focus of concentrated mindfulness. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. Know it by feeling. Feel the sensations of the clothing rubbing against the skin, the stomach, your cage, your chest as it expands and contracts, creating friction sensation. To help stay focused, you can use these brief mental reminders. In, sitting, out, sitting, just over and over and over again. In, sitting. Out, sitting. The ongoing, continuous, present moment, the sitting, breathing body. You can really hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye, sort of watching the body sitting and breathing. We're looking into a mirror. That is a visual image, collection of sensation. Breathing is going on in the center of the body. You can also feel clothing touching the skin, your hands touching, buttocks pressing the seat. Face or eye. In, sitting. Out, sitting. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Breathing body in front of the awareness. Try to notice how each breath is different. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. Sometimes you feel the breathing more in the abdomen, sometimes you feel it more in the rib cage, chest. It's always changing. In, sitting. Out, sitting. Especially with each out breath, just allow the body and mind to relax more and more to the here and now, present moment. More physical vibrations you can notice this time for your mind. You get carried away in other thoughts. Think about something, just think about in, sitting, out, sitting. Catch the mind lost in thoughts, recognize it as lost. Thinking. Just take a deep, slow breath, bring the mind back into the body. Back in, sitting. Out, sitting. Brief pauses between the breaths, with the outline of the sitting body. The head is drooping down, mindfully lift the chin up. Spine is slouching, mindfully straighten up the spine. Feel those subtle vibrations. Feel the pulse of blood. Tingling sensations, itchy, prickly sensations. If any pains arise, observe those sensations. Well up. How they affect your mind. Time to time, take a few deep, slow breaths. Stay awake, centered in the body. dukkha patacani dukkha bhayapatacani bhaya sukha patacani sukha Hantu sapi pipaninu. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. Thus spoke the Buddha. Now place your hands at the edge of your knees. One more deep breath. As you breathe in, stretch your head back, pull your hands against your knees to arch the spine back. Look up at the ceiling. Then lift the head up on an in-breath. On the out-breath, press your chin to the top of the chest. Stretch the neck vertebrae. Lift the chin up level on the in-breath. Relax on the out-breath. Keep feeling the body. Okay. On it. Anybody able to have a few minutes of some what they think will be awareness, just being kind of just feeling the present moment. Sensations. Anyway, so how many of you plan to come to the program tomorrow? Because tomorrow we'll be kind of doing more, doing more of the same. Anybody have any last questions? When you go home, those who are coming tomorrow, try not to go home and get involved with a bunch of stuff, or watch the news or surf the internet, because try to keep whatever little pleasant feeling or some awareness and connection with the body with you, but just being mindful, getting a good night's sleep. First in the morning.
Let us keep our palms together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhante. We can share the merits with all the sentient beings. May all the sentient beings, Devas, may receive these merits. May the Devas protect the Buddha Sasana, protect these venerable Bhante, Rahula, and all the venerable monks and all the participants today. With having that thoughts, let us recite the stanza to share the merits with all the sentient beings. Ittavata amhi sambatam punya sampadam sabbhi deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata amhi sambatam punya sampadam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata amhi sambatam punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all of these merits also we are going to share with all the departed relatives. May all the relatives of us, especially the sponsoring family today, Chandana Mahatya, Milanona and family, and also Chaminda Mahatya and Sujivani Nona and family, and all the others whoever came to practice meditation and also listen to this Dhamma talk. All the departed relatives may receive these merits. All our departed relatives and friends, also whoever passed away, who has been committed for the continuity of this Buddha Sasana, all the venerable monks, and all the devotees may receive these merits. May all of them be well and happy in their sansaric journey, and may they be able to attain eternal happiness of Nibbana, sharing merits with departed ones. Idang minyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang minyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang minyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. The blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha be with Venerable Yogavachara Rahula Mahatera and all the venerable monks, and also all these devotees, all our Dhamma friends, whoever came to listen to this Dhamma talk and also listen to this Dhamma talk and also practice meditation with us, whoever helped us may receive these merits. May all of you be well and happy and be able to continue in this spiritual path with practicing Dhamma, and may you all be able to reach your goals that you are having in this life, and also may you be able to achieve your spiritual goals, and may you all be able to overcome from all the desires and be able to attain eternal happiness of Nibbana aspiration. Imina punya kammine mami bale samagamu satang samagamu hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Idang mi punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamujjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We can all together pay respect to the Bhante. Hope to see you all tomorrow morning.
We have each sign some refreshments downstairs in the basement. Please join and have some.